Hello YouTube. Today we're going to try to diagnose and fix the problem of this two-door GE refrigerator. That's the model number right there. As you can see, the thermometer shows that the temperature right now is almost 60 degrees. And when it should be around 30. To remove the contents of your freezer, you can either move it to the refrigerator side, or if you have a cooler, you can temporarily put all of these items there while you're performing this repair. You're gonna need access to that back panel there, so you will have to remove all of these racks. So next, you're going to remove this plastic cover for the bulb. So from there, you will be able to access those two screws. So after removing those two top screws, you have to disconnect this green wire that's attached to the back panel. Then on the bottom, remove the screws that's holding these guide rails for the basket. There are two screws on each rail. Okay, so with those two guide rails removed, you should now be able to pull out this back panel towards the front. And most likely you will find that the entire cooling coil of your freezer is frozen, which could indicate that either your heater lamp is out, or there is a thermostat controller back there with the pink and orange wire, or it could be a temperature sensor down here. There's another one on top back there. We're gonna have to test each and every one of those to see which one is faulty, and we're gonna start with the heater bulb. First thing we're gonna test, and which is the most common cause of this problem, is the heater bulb. For this test, you need to set your multimeter to the ohm setting to test for continuity. You really need a multimeter tester because you won't be able to judge if the bulb is faulty just by looking at it, unless it's obvious, like this one, where I can see that the coils have already broken off. While on this one, this is actually still a good bulb, even though it's showing some wear on it, some dark areas compared to a brand new one that's nice and clean, but this one is still actually good. See, there's still continuity between both ends. So now that we have confirmed that we have a defective heater bulb, I'm gonna go ahead and replace it. Everything is pretty much just done in reverse. Plug the blue and the pink wire on each end of the bulb. If you've confirmed that your heater bulb is in working order, you should test this thermostat with a multimeter tester to see if it needs to be replaced. Start by disconnecting the orange and pink wire. Now we're gonna go over how to test this thermostat that controls your heater bulb. If you look at it, you should see some numbers and letters that read L140-30F. What this means is that this thermostat functions as a device that controls your heater bulb. So when the temperature inside your freezer goes below 30 degrees Fahrenheit, this device turns on the heater on your freezer. It allows the ice to melt. And when the temperature reaches 140 degrees Fahrenheit, it turns off that heater bulb. So you can test this with a multimeter tester set for about 20,000 ohms. What you're gonna do is you're gonna touch your test probes with each end of the wire, and at room temperature it should read 0, or it should be in its closed position. Now, using a hair dryer or a heat gun in this case, we're gonna heat this up to basically heat this up to a point where it reaches 140 degrees Fahrenheit and turn into the open position, which also means that when installed on your freezer, this is the part where it turns off the heater bulb. So right now it's still reading 0.00, which means there's still continuity, which means we have not really reached 140 degrees yet. Okay, so now, as you can see, there's no more continuity between both ends. So this tells me that this thermostat works as far as determining when to shut off the heater bulb. Now we're gonna test it for to see if it knows when to turn on the heater bulb. You can do this by dipping it in ice cold water and waiting for it to cool down, and there you can actually hear it click and go into closed position, and you should get a reading of continuity. You should get a continuity reading on your multimeter tester. So that confirms that our thermostat is still working. Next, we're gonna test the temperature sensors. This is how you can test the temperature sensor on your refrigerator. Put it in a cup of ice water for about 5 minutes. Set your multimeter tester to the ohm setting. I have mine set to 20,000 or 20k ohms. When you connect your test leads to each wire coming out of the sensor, you should be getting 16.3 ohms plus minus 5%. As you can see, this one, on this one we are only getting 12.27 ohms. So this confirms that this sensor is no longer good.